This is Smokin Jamgrass. I'm Brian.
I'm Jolie, and we'd like to share with you the music we love, progressive bluegrass, and its roots, with new episodes airing the first Sunday of each month from 2 to 3 p.m., right here on KMUZ.
You and I headed straight into the west.
Welcome to the show, everyone. So glad you could make it, because we have bandleader and bassist Sam Grisman on the show today. We first heard of the Sam Grisman Project about a year ago when they launched a new album, and they embarked on a tour that would take them all around the country, playing 100 shows in 2023. We first got the pleasure of seeing the band at the start of their journey when they played Portland last January. Then we saw them again, this time an all-acoustic performance at the Aladdin just last month. The core four of SGP is made up of Sam Grisman on the bass, Ric Robertson on the mandolin, Aaron Lipp on the guitar, and Chris Hollywood English on percussion. They all sing and they all play multiple instruments, actually. And there is a turnstile of special guests appearing with the Sam Grisman Project. In January last year, it was Alex Hargreaves on the fiddle. And this last time, it was Nat Smith on the cello.
We were lucky enough to meet up with Sam at a local Portland coffee shop and had a great one-on-one conversation with him. So stay tuned for a great interview we have with Sam.
And we're also playing some prime hand-picked cuts from some of SGP's live performances from throughout 2023. To get things started, here's the Sam Grisman Project live at the Get Down in Blaine, Pennsylvania, June 22nd, 2023, doing their rendition of Jerry Garcia and David Grisman's song Grateful Dog.
Smokin Jamgrass here on KMUZ. We just heard the Sam Grisman Project covering Grateful Dog, penned by Jerry and his dad, David Grisman.
We met up with Sam Grisman at a coffee shop in Southeast Portland just before he and the Sam Grisman Project, SGP, played a killer sold-out show at the Aladdin. And here's how it went. Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to Portland.
Yeah, welcome back. We last saw you in January at the Polaris. Tell us about what's been going on ever since the last time you were here.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem like we've stopped much since January. It's been kind of a whirlwind of a year, but we're thankful for all of it.
Yeah, 71 shows I counted this year alone.
No,
Is it more
we're
than
actually
that?
in the 90s, yeah.
Oh, wow, great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Really burning it up,
It's
man.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, good. Cool.
So how do you choose between electric versus acoustic
Yeah, or both.
sets?
You know,
or both, like you did
when we
last
saw you last time, it was both. Sometimes it's acoustic.
Well, so the band is based mostly out of the Finger Lakes, outside of Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And basically, we're just a mom and pop shop. You know, this is our first year of existing.
Yeah.
And backlining a whole stage worth of electric equipment or buying road cases for all that equipment
Right.
and transporting it ourselves, like on a commercial airline,
Tons of gear,
is
yeah.
not really commercially
Yeah, okay.
viable for us,
Right.
or financially viable for
Right.
us right now.
Right, especially for these shows, because they're two isolated shows completely off your tour. I mean,
Yeah,
you came all
like-
the way across the country.
We miss playing on the West Coast, and I'm from out here. And
Yeah. You miss it?
I'm a Bay Area boy.
Yeah.
I miss playing for folks on the West Coast, and I want to do a lot more of it in 2024.
All
Yep.
right.
And we got some on the docket. You got Arizona, you got Southern California in February, you got some dates coming up.
We're working on moving north.
yeah,
Don't
no,
worry.
no, we're stoked to have you for this weekend. So
But yeah, back to your question.
Yeah.
For a couple of fly dates like this, and just for continuity's sake,
Yeah.
and to be able to bring our friend Nat Smith into the mix to play some cello.
Mm-hmm.
Nat's an unbelievable keyboard player, and he plays electric tenor guitar.
Okay.
cool.
So we'll fold him into the electric mix as well.
Oh,
but-
cool.
But that'll be further on down the line.
So tell us more about him. How do you know him? What's his story?
Let's see, gosh, I've known Smitty since I was probably 13 or 14.
Okay.
We met through the music scene. I think we met at Rocky Grass. He's even younger than the rest of our most of our core musical friend group, but he's a member of it. We all met Smitty when he was felt like he was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And he was playing music with Natalie McMaster.
Oh, wow.
Who's
Okay.
an unbelievable
Yes.
Cape Breton style fiddler.
Yes.
And Nat is one of the world's great cello players. He's got one of the greatest musical ears I've ever known or gotten to, work with.
Nice.
And he's one of my dear friends. We've been friends since we were, teenagers,
Awesome.
basically.
And so is he
or
local?
preteens.
Is it hard for him to get here?
We both live in Nashville.
Oh, he does. Okay, great.
So we hang a lot in Nashville.
Nice.
And, but yeah, we spend a lot of time together
Nice.
working on music over the years.
Awesome.
And we had a side project together about 10 years ago called The Brotet
Oh, nice.
with Alex Hargreaves and Dominic
Okay.
Leslie.
Oh, cool.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're, just some of my dearest friends, and we've always liked playing new acoustic music together and sort of stretching out on different tunes that we grew up playing, but also, we started writing music together.
Nice.
And so Smitty and I have written some music together, and
Yeah.
sometimes we write, sometimes we just smoke hash, sometimes we play frisbee.
Nice. With your band, there's you have so many guests. Obviously people that you played with, people that you've grown up with and learned how to play music with and stuff. It's really cool to just watch you from afar. How many different people you guys jammed out with Wyatt Ellis the other night.
What an amazing force that kid is.
How did that come to be?
Well, I guess a bunch of my buddies in the music scene had sort of made me aware of him.
Yeah.
Billy basically told me, this kid's the truth. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And also Dominic Leslie had been giving him some lessons.
Right.
And my buddy Chris Henry.
Sierra Hall.
Yes.
Good reports from everybody I know.
Yeah.
Right.
It looked like you had a great time with him on the stage.
Yeah, he was. He
stoked.
brought some great energy, and he was real happy to be there, and we were happy to have him. And his mom's real sweet.
I see these kids popping up, and they are just beyond their years. I mean, it seems like they're just playing like I've never seen before. So
It's just the natural order of things. It really does seem like with more access to information, people are getting better at everything younger.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Internet.
just more resources out there for learning and tools, tools for teaching and all that.
Yes.
And he learned over the pandemic lockdown time.
He's literally been playing mandolin for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Crazy.
It's pretty staggering.
Right.
Yeah.
But he obviously has a great deal of natural ability, and he's got really supportive parents in an environment where they're, open to really fostering that.
Right.
It's like an optimal environment for
And
growth.
putting the work in and having great teachers.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's a very open community,
Yeah.
a very giving community, and super accessible world. The bluegrass world is.
Yeah.
So if you're a young mandolin player and you have the gumption, which he has in spades, which is amazing. I had, hardly a shred of that when I was 14.
Well, let's take a listen to a song SGP played with Wyatt Ellis at the Gray Eagle in Asheville, North Carolina, December 2nd, 2023.
Here's them doing David Grisman Quintet's Eat My Dust.
Yeah.
We've got Sam Grisman and the Sam Grisman Project today on Smokin Jamgrass on KMUZ.
Yeah.
Wyatt Ellis, y'all.
Eat my dust.
Eat my dust.
Yeah.
Sam Grisman Project, covering the David Grisman Quintet's great song,
Eat My Dust.
and that 14-year-old Wyatt Ellis on the mandolin playing David Grisman's song. Wow.
Boy, that kid sure can't pick the splinters out of that mandolin.
And we are talking with Sam Grisman of the Sam Grisman Project.
You growing up with so many great musicians, coming in and out of your house, like what were some of the biggest influences that really kind of directed you towards gravitating towards the bass? Why the bass? Who were some of your great teachers, man?
I had some amazing teachers, but to be honest, my biggest teacher has always been my dad, because he's the one who always had the aesthetic and knew what he wanted to hear.
Yeah, the work
and
ethic.
He's a great band leader, and he's got great work ethic, like you said.
Yeah.
And really knows how to practice. And so, but he also knew that I wasn't going to be passionate about music or really get to where he could see that I could go as a musician with just his motivation. So he knew that drive would have to come from me.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't really try to prescribe any sort of practice or anything like that.
He didn't push it on you.
He would push me to play music with those people around me who were better than me, who he knew that I could immediately learn from. And so that's the special part of the closed loop, if you will, of bringing somebody like Wyatt up on stage.
Yeah,
That's how he encouraged me to learn as a young person, and my friend group. Like, really, my dad invited Dominic Leslie and Sarah Jarosz and Ric Robertson and Sierra Hull, all these folks up on stages when they were probably 14 or 15 years old.
Right.
And Wyatt honestly looks so much like a young Dominic Leslie.
Right.
That it was just a trip for Rick and I, who are, two of Dominic's greatest friends. And we all lived together during college.
Yes.
And we've known each other and been on this musical journey or mandolin journey for a long time. Because we all met at the Mandolin Symposium.
Yeah.
Just having Wyatt on stage, looking and sounding like himself, but also kind of like a 14-year-old Dominic Leslie, was just blowing my mind.
Now to be passing down, like it's the same cycle repeating.
Yeah.
So the Mandolin Symposium, which one specifically? Do you remember? Was
the first one, my dad and Mike Marshall and Chris Thiele, and a few other guys, started a camp called the Mandolin Symposium that existed for probably about a dozen years.
Where was it?
It was in Santa Cruz, California.
Okay, cool.
And it started in 2004.
Okay, cool.
So we were, I think that was the summer before we all started high school, or before Dominic and I started high school, and Rick, that was the summer in between his freshman and sophomore years.
Okay, cool, nice. Right.
And Sarah Jarosz was there. She was maybe in like 7th grade. Alex Hargreaves was there. He was in 7th grade or so.
Picture.
Jake Jolliffe was there.
Wow.
There's actually there's a video on YouTube of this ensemble that existed at that symposium.
Yeah.
That was like the young, wunderkind mandolin ensemble.
Yeah.
I forget exactly. I don't think there was an actual band name. It was basically Chris Thiele was the leader, and he helped us write this tune and perform it. And it was Sarah and Bryce Milano, Dominic Leslie, and Jake Jolliffe.
Cool.
What's the song? What's the tune you did? Anything?
We just wrote some weird instrumental tune, that
on the
had
spot.
many parts, but it's on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, we'll check
and
it
we're
out.
all little kids.
Nice, yeah. I mean, the whole bluegrass genre is in good hands right now.
Alex was on there too, actually.
Nice.
Playing fiddle. So me and him were kind of like the token non-mandolin players.
Yeah.
Totally.
at the symposium.
Yeah, cool, man.
That's interesting. You go to a mandolin symposium, but you're allowed to play other instruments.
Well, I was sort of forced to play the bass in a sea of mandolin players.
Right.
Because my dad, it was like free
Yeah.
bass playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and so many of y'all are multi-instrumentalists that play. Everybody plays. That's one of the great things about seeing your band play is everybody's changing guitars and walking across the stage. And somebody will play the keys. Somebody, just passing around the instruments, and everybody's proficient at it. And everybody's singing, and it's great, man. It's a bluegrass tradition. Just being able to play at least a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of something.
Yeah.
I kind of break that mold because I'm just basically a bass player.
Yeah.
But I can noodle around a little bit.
What are your two basses that you play? Your electric and your stand-up. What are they?
Yeah, so I play 1959 Gibson EB2 when I play electric bass.
Okay.
It's an old Gibson semi-hollow body instrument with banjo-style tuners.
Okay.
And it's about as old as an electric bass gets.
Nice.
They started making electric basses maybe 10 years before that. That's when the instrument was invented.
Right on.
Wow.
But it's an early, tubby sound, warm,
Yeah.
vibey instrument. A lot of people don't like them because they aren't, they don't have a lot of nuance. Like you can't go in a million directions with them. They don't give you a whole lot of options, but
It's kind of hard to control.
Well, they're just warm and dark and kind of muddy.
No, right on.
But I grew up playing upright bass, and that's that sound that I have in my head.
Yes.
And also, a lot of my favorite bass tone is sort of warm and round and big, and not super pointed or
Fender jazz style, or
just a P bass with flat wounds, or basically I don't love the sound of round wound strings for my own playing.
Right.
So I play this EB2 with flat wounds on there.
Oh, it sounds great.
And it's our dear friend Jason Auerbach, who's a vintage instrument collector and a really high level music appreciator. He's just loaned me that instrument indefinitely.
Oh, cool.
I'm taking care of it for him.
How long have you had it?
I've had it for the better part of this year.
Okay. Cool. Okay, it fits in perfect because you almost play it like an upright on your stool.
Yeah, I got off of that technique. Simply because I like to be a little more mobile and engaged with everybody. And I haven't found that perfect strap that will help me align the bass, the neck of the bass more like an upright neck. Right. So if you're listening to this and you are an instrument strap maker and your wheels are turning, give me a shout somehow.
Looking for something that'll get the electric more upright for you.
Yeah, I mean, you see pictures of certain bass players, like Bill Wyman used to sort of hold the neck of his bass upright, but I'm pretty sure he kind of was doing most of that work with his shoulder.
Yes.
And I'm used to just sort of like having my shoulder blades back, playing upright in a certain way that is sustainable for my body.
Yes.
And I was just taking this thinking that I have had in the studio in the past where I've had to play electric bass, where I've needed to change my physicality for stamina purposes. Yes. Because playing it like a guitar, like completely horizontally aligned, will put stress on my wrist and sort of like I'll start to have all this pain in my forearm that I never have when I'm playing regular upright right hand technique, which is more fluid. Your arm is hanging down at your side and you're just sort of pulling towards you, and that's a motion that I've literally been doing since I was 3 or 4 years old. So it's sort of second nature. And this other bent wristed thing, I can do it for a while, but then I'll start to have
it's a little torqued out.
All this fatigue. So basically making Ric's Choices and Chains record, which still isn't out, but it's going to come out in 2024.
Okay.
I played electric bass on the whole thing, and I was starting to burn out. And then I had this like epiphany. oriented the bass upright like an upright. And
Yeah.
I was sitting, of course, on the session.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it made it a little easier.
Yeah, so many
And I
takes.
just had the bass between my legs. And was
that
like,
worked.
oh, I could do this for the rest of the week.
Cool.
That's no problem.
Nice.
Cool.
That's great.
Would you wear white, oh my dear, oh my dear? Would you wear white, Janet Jenkins? Don't wear white, cause the color's too bright. I'll buy me a 40 road until they taught us she could never use it, cause the road by me. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll. Would you wear blue, oh my dear, oh my dear? Would you wear blue, Janet Jenkins? Don't wear blue, cause the color's too true. I'll buy me a 40 road until they taught us she could never use it, cause the road by me. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll. Would you wear orange, oh my dear, oh my dear? Would you wear orange, Janet Jenkins? No orange, I don't wear any rhyme, so there. I'll buy me a 40 road until they taught us she could never use it, cause the road by me. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll. Oh, would you wear yellow, oh my dear, oh my dear? Would you wear yellow, Janet Jenkins? No, I won't wear yellow, cause I never get a fellow. I'll buy me a 40 road until they taught us she could never use it, cause the road by me. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll. Would you wear beige, oh my dear, oh my dear? Would you wear beige, Janet Jenkins? No, I won't wear beige, cause it shows my age. I'll buy me a 40 road until the daughter she could never use it, cause the road by me. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll. Oh, what would you wear, oh my dear, oh my dear? What would you wear, Janet Jenkins? Oh, what do you care if I just go bare? I'll buy me a 40 road until the daughter she could never use it, cause the road by me. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll. Roll, Janet Jenkins, roll.
Smokin Jamgrass on KMUZ, the Sam Grisman Project, doing Jenny Jenkins. I love that song.
Yeah, me too.
And it's a great soundboard from an upstate New York venue called the Riviera Theater, recorded on April 1st, 2023. We love that Sam Grisman is talking with us. We got to sit with him the beginning of December when he was around Portland, and we talked quite a bit about his dad, the famous David Grisman.
No.
So how is your dad doing?
He's doing great. He's doing amazing.
So we caught you also at the Shed a few years back when you were
with the
doing
Dawg
Trio.
Yeah.
With Danny.
Oh, wow.
And
that was
so,
one of our last West Coast gigs.
I know that he and Danny Barnes are neighbors and they hang out. And
Ish. They
Kinda.
hang out all the time. They're neighbors-ish.
What's it like hanging with them?
Danny rides his motorcycle over.
Okay.
It's
Really?
about a 20-minute drive. So neighbors is pushing it, but
ish.
they are in the same neck of the woods.
Same zip code.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or something.
Yeah.
You guys play a lot when you get together?
Man,
You and your
I
dad.
wish I got to play more music with those guys in this moment in time, but we haven't played music for quite a while.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys obviously play Jerry and your dad a lot. And I mean, how's your dad feel? Like your dad must be honored, right? And proud.
He is. He's he doesn't want to do the traveling.
No, right.
And he's glad that I'm doing what I love with the people I love to do it with. Mm-hmm. And, he's tickled that, I like to play his music and participate in carrying his legacy forward out into the world.
Yeah.
And I'd say that he's feeling pretty proud.
Good.
He's, a cynical 78-year-old cat who's had, 6 decades of experience in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he's a well of knowledge. Sometimes it's not exactly the shit I want to hear.
His dad.
He's my dad.
Right.
Right.
But
and a super perfectionist,
Yeah.
Big shoes, man. It's tough.
It is, but he's a very kind-hearted guy. He's very generous.
Nice.
And he's always liked to bring his friends together to make music, in service of some good songs.
Hell yeah.
And that's the part of his legacy that, really resonates with me, or one of them.
Yeah.
And, that's something that I feel like I can carry out into the space.
That's great.
And
carry it forward.
yeah, it's an amazing honor to get to play this stuff
Yeah.
with my friends, and it's a great responsibility, but we really care about the music, and
That's it.
we care about each other, and
Yeah.
and you said, like, we have a lot of guests, and
Yes.
those guests are like a part of the band, and the band is really more about the music and highlighting,
Yeah.
what that means for us and what that means for everybody. And there are a lot of dear musician friends who care so much about this music,
Yeah.
who I'm hoping to get into the fold in 2024 and beyond.
Nice.
The Sam Grisman Project and David Grisman along with them doing Dawg's Waltz.
Woo!
That was recorded at the Open Space, Vashon Island, Washington in August 2023. We've been talking with Sam Grisman and playing music from the Sam Grisman Project. Let's talk a little more about the core four.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I know you and Rick, you met at a young age. Oh, yeah, kind of met at a young age, right? You met Rick first.
I met Rick first, yeah, we were 14.
At the symposium.
That's how we connected,
Nice.
Two young troublemakers at mandolin camp.
Troublemakers. Do you have a good troublemaking story for us?
I mean, yeah, I guess the statute of limitations is probably out. But, we used to drive around the UC Santa Cruz campus, smoking joints in my car and then getting back to the campus and, working on tunes that everybody else at the camp, thought were frustrating or,
And there's so much stiff, regiment and working, with the old traditional style of bluegrass.
There is.
But now it's really kind of freeing out and jamming out into a whole psychedelic, freedom, jazz, and your dad too, and the whole Dawg music and opening up with all these genres, and breaking the chains of all this tradition,
Yeah, I mean,
but also paying respect to it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, genres are just basically used to brand artists
Well, yes.
and make their art a little more accessible or understandable to the masses.
Right.
Right.
But
Yeah.
each genre is valid,
Yes.
Yeah.
and the blending of genres is totally valid.
Totally.
And playing a traditional bluegrass tune in a traditional context is also a great thing.
Yes. Right.
So there's space for all of it,
yes, for sure.
and that's part of the reason why I've wanted to keep the acoustic music that we play in this band acoustic and
Right.
play it on condenser microphones.
Yes.
Which has been a challenge. And
Yes.
Yeah, so when you're at a show and you're doing an acoustic show, Portland,
yeah.
do you want everybody to stand up or sit down?
Well, we'd love for people to stand and move and dance and be moved by the music.
Yeah.
I don't think that you need to carry a conversation to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the most beautiful things about being at a concert is being present with a lot of people who you don't necessarily know, who, it's like that cosmic human experience of feeling connected to everyone and everything. It's a sort of something that we can get from psychedelics or from transcendental meditation or
Dancing.
from dancing,
Yeah.
from music.
Feel that music.
Right.
There's very few things that bring us to that place.
Religious altogether.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
it just seems to me like people would want to be quiet to listen to the music, and that quiet doesn't necessarily mean bored
Right.
or still.
Right.
It's kind of tough. People get to drinking and they're like, hey,
Yeah, it just
they're
depends
gonna
on the
do that
room.
noise. Yeah.
Depends on the night. Depends
Yeah.
on the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, it's so tough when you're doing single mic as well. You don't have that kind of amplification, and every, on the acoustic music, every resonant note is important and hard to hear in the back of the room. Sometimes when there's
There's
noise
a bunch
going
of
on.
chompers, yeah.
Yes,
Chompers.
exactly. Right.
Well, that's been the beautiful thing about our shows this year is that for the most part, it is like a community experience, and there's some people at the show who've been to other SGP experiences,
Right.
and so we don't really have to do that much policing.
Right.
There's a lot of it's like a self-policing situation.
A lot of heads.
A lot of heads will shush each other,
Yeah.
but not in a nasty way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just in a hey, like,
Family way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not quite ready to fully capitulate and just get really loud on our acoustic music, acoustic instruments.
Yes.
Because that's not really what this music is about for me.
So just tracking back, so you met Ric first.
Yeah.
And so how'd you meet Aaron?
I met Aaron through Ric when Ric's band, the Rigs, started touring pretty heavily.
Okay.
I was in Ric's first iteration of his band, which was called Ric Robertson and the Boston Boys.
Okay.
And I think there's still a record up on the streaming services of that band.
Right on.
And it's actually pretty damn good for a bunch of 18-year-olds in the year 2008.
Oh, nice.
But Ric's always been a great songwriter and a high-level curator of a band. And
then Rags, where does the nickname Rags come from for
the nicknames?
for Aaron?
well, there's two sides to that story. The first is that he often will have a rag hanging out of his back pocket. He's quite the handyman.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll tie a bandana around his forehead.
Okay.
But he's often doing something like raising a barn or splitting wood.
Or building a cabin and making a studio.
Exactly. So he's often got a rag in his back pocket to wipe something clean or some sweat off of his brow. The other reason is that he's an amazing piano player and guitarist.
Yes.
And he often likes to play rags, which are a style of
like
instrumental
ragtime
tune. Or like a ragtime tune. Like there's just a whole canon of rags that were either written for guitar or piano.
Oh, cool. Right on. Nice.
And they're sort of like the technically difficult show tunes of the day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He's another multi-talented artist.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
And a great songwriter.
Yeah.
So on your first album, was it recorded at his studio? Where?
Yeah, it was recorded at his studio in Naples, New York. It's called Temple Cabins.
Temple Cabins, Volume 1.
Yep.
So the burning question, everyone's mind, when's Volume 2?
We've got it.
It's in the can?
Right.
It's in the can. We're not sure what the direction to go in is.
Perfect.
Do we release a volume 2 that's longer than volume 1?
Oh, you got a lot.
Do we go in a completely different direction and let some of our dear taper friends give us suggestions for their picks?
Okay.
And put out some sort of highlights.
Like a live album?
A live album or a live compilation album or a series. We're also imminently about to put a bunch of stuff up on Nugs.
Oh, cool. Oh, great.
And
that's great.
There's, plenty of resources out there for the SGP enthusiast on the Live Music Archive.
Okay, good. Yeah, and YouTube now.
And YouTube.
Full shows,
YouTube's full of it.
Yes, great. That's awesome.
But, I know we'll put out a Temple Cabin Sessions Volume 2 at some point, just from those original sessions.
Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome.
The time that we're about to spend in the studio with my dad will be a little different than that.
Okay.
But so that'll obviously not be a Temple Cabin session because it won't be recorded at Temple Cabin.
Yeah, you're right.
Nice. But I'm anxious to work on some of my dad's music with these guys because we've been out there on the road playing Dawg music all year.
Yeah.
And it's just a really special thing to get to make music with my dad, and it's something I don't get to do enough anymore. And
cool, man.
I want to make sure that we talk about Hollywood a little bit.
Hollywood is the GOAT.
Hollywood has the best smile.
Yeah.
He is truly one of my favorite people and favorite musicians and favorite drummers.
Yeah.
Such an inspiration.
How did
you meet
in?
him?
Yeah.
Well, Aaron is from Naples, New York, and Chris is from Rochester. Okay. They're about an hour away from each other.
Yeah, upstairs.
And Chris is an absolute staple of the Rochester music scene.
Okay.
He grew up playing music in the church, His dad's a pastor, and his mom used to be one of Patti LaBelle's backup singers.
Oh, wow.
She's an amazing singer.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Another family of musicians.
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
And he's played with Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy's his godfather.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a trip.
Chrissy has friends everywhere we go.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
he is, one of the best singers and musicians I've ever known. And he also writes incredible music.
Definitely.
And his songs have the tendency to just be really uplifting and positive, but also just like have some hard-edged truth in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel that vibe. Like,
Yeah, you guys played Alone last time at Polaris.
Yeah.
Man, that's fantastic. Yeah.
side moment there.
Man, that's such a great song.
Yeah. Well, it's a great core four that you got going. You guys have just been working your ass off all year.
Yeah.
So great to see all the events. Like I saw your book for Delfest.
Yeah.
You got some big stuff coming up next year. So
Yeah, we'll be at Delfest and High Sierra.
I love how inclusive bluegrass is.
yeah.
It's like the people and the music and the instrument, switch it around,
The sharing.
taking turns, sharing,
Yeah.
giving, taking.
Well, that's how everybody gets to the place, to the place where they are musically.
Yeah.
Is by growing and learning from
listening.
Yeah, listening
Right.
So important.
to your elders and learning
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
there is so much sharing. It's not a big hiding thing, Like it's
No.
it's really a language all its own.
Yeah, kind
It's
of.
just you guys just do fantastic.
Well, I think it's because it's still it's a small enough community where if you find it, it's like you have enough passion for it anyways, and whoever might be showing you or teaching you is going to recognize that quality
Right.
in you that they see in themselves, and
That's really great.
that generosity keeps flowing.
Yeah. Well, we're so grateful.
Well, fantastic.
We're grateful to get to play music for
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Stoked to
Yeah.
have you in the Pacific Northwest again. Please
Yeah.
come back.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Sam Grisman, for taking the time to sit down and talk to us. And I have a feeling 2024 is going to be so much more.
Yeah, these kids are legit, and boy, I wish we had our time again. I can't wait.
Wait a second. Isn't that a song?
Oh, it's John Hartford. And here's Sam Grisman Project covering John Hartford's Wish We Had Our Time Again.
Thanks for listening, y'all. And until next time,
Much
much
love.
love.
Oh, the roads we ran and the folks we knew, the risky things that we used to do. Now it's over and I know we're through, and I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time. I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time. This one's for Jeff Austin. Well, I couldn't go to sleep, got up and made a light. I tried to write it down in the middle of the night, looking for the words, but they won't come right. And I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time. I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time. Come on, Sammy, play the bass. Sam Grisman, y'all. Not for love, I could hardly see. I looked at you and you looked at me. Oh, memory love wouldn't let me be. And I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time. Oh, I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time again. I wish we had our time.
Playing the bass and singing for y'all, that's Samson Grisman.